They laughed at her weakness, until she lifted a soldier on her back and ran miles. The dust of the training field clung to her boots, as laughter rang out like sharp cracks of a whip. They called her fragile, too small, too weak to belong among hardened recruits. She had stumbled once during drills, her knees trembling under the weight of her pack, and the ridicule had not stopped since. But that morning, when the siren blared and a soldier collapsed, her so-called weakness would be tested in a way none of them could have imagined. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Elena. She had joined the military, not out of glory, but out of promise. A vow whispered at her brother's grave, to carry strength where he no longer could. Yet every day, her peers chipped away at her resolve. "She'll never last," they muttered. And though she held her chin high, inside, she carried a storm of doubt. Was she truly strong enough? The day of the march was merciless. Heat pressed down like iron, and the road stretched endlessly into the horizon. Sweat stung her eyes, blurring the faces of those around her. She forced one foot ahead of the other, even as her body begged her to stop. Then came the sound, a sickening thud. A soldier had collapsed, his face pale, his breaths ragged. The unit froze, whispers spread like wildfire. "Leave him," someone muttered. "He's done." Another voice harsher. "He'll slow us down." Elena's heart hammered. The soldier was twice her size, muscles built like stone, yet now he was helpless in the dirt. Her mind screamed at her, "You can't do this, you'll fall too." But another voice, softer and deeper, rose within her. "If not you, then who?" The world seemed to still. Dust swirled around her boots as she bent low, gripping his arms. The murmurs turned into mocking laughter. "She'll break her back trying." Yet with trembling legs and gritted teeth, she heaved him onto her shoulders. The weight nearly crushed her. The strain clawed at her muscles, searing fire into her lungs. But she staggered forward, step by step, refusing to fall. Each mile stretched into eternity. The soldier's shallow breaths grazed her ear. Her vision blurred, but she pressed on, fueled not by strength of body, but by defiance of spirit. The unit grew silent, their laughter replaced with awe. No one moved to help, perhaps out of shame, perhaps out of disbelief. The only sound was her boots striking the dirt, steady as a drumbeat of courage. There was a moment when her knees buckled. She nearly crashed beneath the weight. Her mind whispered surrender, but then she remembered her brother's smile, the promise she had made beside his flag-draped coffin. And so, with tears streaking her dust-covered face, she rose again. By the time the outpost came into view, silence reigned. Soldiers who had mocked her now walked in humbled stillness. When she finally reached the gates, her body collapsed, but not before lowering the man safely onto the ground. He lived because of her. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. Then came a ripple, one soldier's hands clapping, then another's, until the air was filled with thunderous applause. Those who had scorned her weakness now stood in the shadow of her strength. And in that moment, the cruel laughter that once defined her was silenced forever. Because strength isn't measured by muscle or stature, it's revealed in the moment you refuse to surrender, and kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. So, what do you think? Could you have carried him too? Share your thoughts below, and if stories of courage and humanity speak to you, make sure to subscribe. There are more stories waiting, and each one reminds us that even in weakness, greatness can rise.